As I mentioned, the House voting on a measure that would raise the debt ceiling, but in conjunction with lowering spending. Well, there's many other issues we talked about. What's happening with Ukraine and Russia, what's happening with China. We cannot be distracted. I mean, we got to keep our eye on the ball here domestically, but we also have to keep an eye on what is happening overseas. We've got China, we've got Taiwan. It is a very, very dangerous world. Joining me now in studio to discuss this and more, Congressman Mark Alford. He serves on the House Armed Services Committee, the House Agriculture Committee, and the House Committee on Small Business. He represents the 4th Congressional District of Missouri. Congressman Alford, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Tony. Good to be here.
Well, thanks for running from the House chamber and making it over
Literally.
here. Yeah, you did.
I think we broke about 3 traffic laws. But
yeah,
we
well,
won't
that's
tell
right. I'll give you a little grace here.
Thank you.
So let's, we really don't have time to go into the debt ceiling. We talked about that earlier with Congressman Scott Perry. I really want to talk what's happening overseas because that's an issue you've been focused on.
Sure.
Are we distracted as a nation?
We are, Tony. We have to be ready for the most serious threat to our nation, and that being the Communist Chinese Party, the government that is, I equate it to the big bad wolf. We need to make sure that our house is made of brick and not straw. That means rebuilding our military, making sure we have the assets in place, making sure we have the ammunitions in place. A lot of that has been spent in Ukraine. We've got to rebuild our supplies, and we do not have time to wait. There are some generals saying that we could be in a conflict with Communist China by 2027. Others are saying a little bit later. But we need to make sure now that we are ready and to be the best deterrent we can. Deterrence is the best option.
Agree. But it's not just a matter of material. It's also a matter of focus and policy. Yesterday, I had Senator Tuberville on the program. You know, he's holding up a number of promotions to general officers because of the military's policy on abortion. That could go away tonight if the Biden administration would simply go back to the previous policy and live within the confines of the law.
This administration is intent on bringing woke diversity, equity, and inclusion into our military and turning our generals into politicians and not military leaders. We grilled Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman about this and Secretary of Defense Austin. They need to know that we are not accepting this in the House Armed Services Committee and the Senate Armed Services Committee as well. We've got to get back to doing the job of protecting America, putting America first, our interests first, our national security. And when we are dividing our military, as they are trying to do, one of the things that I said during our question and answers with the committee a couple of weeks ago is if we went across the Potomac River right now, and we walked among those white gravestones of the brave warriors who gave their lives for our nation, and we looked down, could we tell what color of the skin of the people lying in those coffins? They said no. I said if a Chinese communist military person was pointing a gun at one of our soldiers, are they going to ask what pronouns before they shoot? No, they don't care. The things that our military is putting forefront right now that they are saying we should care about do not matter to our readiness.
Biggest threat to the United States when you look at the global landscape?
I do believe it is. And the problem is America is asleep, Tony. We have kids walking around, even adults with TikTok. They won't take our facts on this, that it is a spy instrument from the Communist Chinese Party. And we have the President of the United States inviting influencers into the White House and going to give them a briefing room. We sent a letter to the President saying, you cannot do this. We have not gotten an answer back yet.
And every American bears responsibility here to make a difference. Part of it is where our products come from. We're supporting the Chinese Communist Party when we buy things from China.
Cheap computers, Wi-Fi systems have infiltrated our municipal governments. They're able to look at our red light cameras. Now people are saying, well, what's the big deal about that? They have their tentacles in everything we do.
Yeah.
Tony, you remember when you and I grew up, things were made in America. We were proud to have things made in America.
Right.
We've got to get that attitude back.
Walmart started that way.
I remember that. Nothing was sold in Walmart that wasn't made in America.
Walmart, everything made in the USA. Congressman, we're out of time. Thank you for coming to the studio and joining us here, Congressman
pleasure.
Alford. We look forward to talking to you more in the future.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.